Peace, peace. It's your girl, Morgan Renee Myers, tuning in for another reading of Secrets Make Us All Sick. That's not what we're tuning in for. We're tuning in for Feeding the Soul, because that's my business by Tabitha Brown. And the chapter is chapter 15, Secrets Make Us All Sick. So I'm going to hop right into it. It starts off with a quote by Alice Walker that reads, "No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow." Let's read that again. I feel like this is going to be a heavy chapter that's going to put some things in perspective for a lot of us. It says, no person is a friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. Alice Walker quoted that. Again, we're reading Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown. I understand why we do it. Some things are just so hard to deal with, and yet we must. Honey, stop denying that it happened, whatever it is. There are things that have happened in our families, things that broke us as children, relationships that we refuse to deal with to the extent that we deny they ever even occurred. I know I've been talking about the importance of facing your life quite a bit in this book, but it really is the way to live a life of freedom and peace. We have to address those hidden things in order to get our healing, baby. Acting like that thing never happened, even if it hurts, is not the way to live free. If anything, it keeps you even more bound. It stunts your growth. Open your mouth, honey. Tell your story. You never know whose chains you'll unlock by having the courage to tell your truth, and you may even unlock your own. I know more than most how much our secrets keep us sick. I also know the power of releasing those hard stories. When I was 15 years old, I was raped. Not Tabitha Brown, my Lord. Ooh, let me process this, Tab. Oh, Lord. When I was 15 years old, I was raped. As with most young girls, this wasn't some stranger jumping out from behind a bush and attacking me. This was someone I knew. Someone I thought I liked. Date rape is pervasive, especially when young men and boys aren't taught what consent means. I just know that I said no, but he didn't stop. I just lay there until it was over because I knew I couldn't fight him off. For the longest time, I thought it was my fault, that I was responsible for what happened to me. There weren't many PSAs or the Me Too movement back then. There wasn't the wealth of information about consent and accountability that we have now. I bought that lie that because I had snuck out of the house with my friends and gone to a party, somehow that meant I got what I deserved. I really thought, that's what you get, Tab. You didn't have no business sneaking out that house, and you had no business going to that party. Like many young girls, I blamed myself. So for nearly 25 years, I kept that secret. I never told a soul, not even Chance, her husband. Then one day, I posted a live video on Facebook, and the story just poured out of me. Now, y'all know I don't believe much happens by accident. There was likely someone who needed to hear my story right then to know that they weren't alone, but it was also freeing for me. The weight had lifted. Of course, I knew by then that the only person responsible for rape is the rapist, and there's absolutely nothing a person can do to cause themselves to be raped, but still, opening up that day was healing for me. The catalyst for me sharing that day was a devastating one. Prior to me posting that video, the guy who hurt me had sent me a friend request. I had not seen him since high school. I'd heard he went to prison for quite a few years, but apparently he was out and wanted to, I guess, keep in touch. Baby, that 15-year-old girl living inside of me froze in terror when she saw his name and little picture pop up on the screen. I became nauseous. I couldn't breathe. A searing pain shot through my tightening chest. Neither she nor I felt safe. The source of our trauma had returned. It was in that moment that I realized just how much what he did to me was still holding me hostage. I didn't know how to feel. I couldn't believe something that had happened so long ago, something I thought I had tucked away and hidden from myself, was still very much present. And that's how our triggers work, right? It only takes one small, seemingly insignificant thing, a voice, a tone, a picture, a smell, to provoke a reaction. Even if we've done healing, we can be triggered. Healing is continuous work. Seeing his friend requests made me physically and emotionally sick, so much so that I sat quiet for a couple of days trying to process what I was feeling and why. Then one particular day, I was stuck in traffic on the 405 freeway, and whenever I'm in a traffic jam, I assume God has placed me there to have some alone time with him. I turned my music down in the car and sat in silence. That's when I heard the words so clearly. God said, "Your secrets are making you sick." It was like the wind was knocked out of me. I began to pray as I was driving. "God, why are you saying this to me?" I asked. The response came through, honey, so quick. If your secrets, those things you kept buried inside for almost 25 years, could grab you and take control of you as sudden as they did, what other people are dealing with secrets that are making them sick? I just started doing videos and was very new to the whole YouTube slash Facebook slash Instagram thing. But I knew God was telling me that I needed to tell my story. I needed to tell my story out loud. I needed to release it. And honey, I did not want to. I never told my daddy. I didn't want him to feel responsible, like he didn't protect me to the best he could. I never told my husband. I was so afraid he might look at me differently. But I knew I could no longer be in denial about it happening, and I knew that this had come back up for a reason. It wasn't about him. It wasn't about what happened all those years ago. It was about what I still allowed the trauma to do to me because I had not released it. I had not released myself from the guilt and shame. Keeping it secret was my way of denying it. So on that very day, I made the decision to share my story on video. And my God, I think that was one of the first nights I realized my videos were changing people's lives. I received hundreds, if not thousands, of messages. Most said this was for me tonight. I've been keeping this a secret. They confessed to me the things they were holding. By sharing, I was helping people break their own cycles, walls, and curses. Folks were being pulled out of darkness. My story let them know that it was okay to not hide or feel shameful anymore. And it was certainly a blessing for me. I needed to know it was okay for me to be free of this. Most important, I needed to know that this was not my fault. It didn't matter that I snuck out the house. It didn't matter that I had gone to a party. It was never my fault that he chose to continue after I said no, that he chose not to stop. And the moment I realized that, the moment I stepped out of the denial and acknowledged that it had happened, the moment I talked to my husband and then spoke to the world, it was like a chain had been lifted off me. It's like I could breathe so much better, and I felt free of something I didn't even know was holding me. Secrets have the ability to fester into tumors, cancers, panic attacks, anxiety, all type of ailments in the body. The things we keep inside, they grow. And sometimes it's not until you're triggered by something that you realize it's there. That's what's been making me sick? Honey, I'm here to tell you, you deserve freedom from that thing. I don't care what your part in it was, if any. Holding the secret in your mind, heart, and body is making you mentally, emotionally, and maybe even physically sick. You deserve to be free from it. You owe that to yourself. You owe yourself the freedom so you can breathe again, so you can look at yourself in the mirror and be okay with who is looking back at you. Baby, it's time to release those secrets and get your freedom. You absolutely deserve it. TSA, Tab Service Announcement. When did we become people who chose to judge each other's every move? This is especially common on social media. When somebody posts something, another person will post a nasty or rude comment instead of looking to understand whatever it is the person is trying to say. This inclination to make the worst comment in order to get a reaction is dehumanizing, and it's time for it to stop. And yes, it's happened to me, but I've seen people do this to so many. I've always wondered what it does for the person being cruel. How does it serve you to hurt others? What kind of satisfaction comes when you inflict pain? Perhaps you are hurting. I get that. Somebody may have hurt you so bad, and your way to feel better is to cast that out onto others. But surely it isn't taking the pain away. It isn't really making you feel better, right? Maybe it's time to simply deal with the source. Go to the root of your hurt so you can stop dumping your pain on people you don't know or the internet. I promise, it's not making you feel better. In fact, it's probably only making things worse. We have hearts, which mean we are designed to love naturally. That's how God designed us. If in your day-to-day life you are intentionally trying to be mean to people to inflict pain, then consider this announcement for you. Check yourself, honey. Whether you are on social media or out at the grocery store, ask yourself some questions. Why am I doing this? What do I get out of making people feel bad? What is my intention at this moment? Am I leading with love? Or am I really trying to hurt somebody because I'm hurt? Do I have a reason to want to judge somebody or say nasty things or have an attitude? Then decide not to do it anymore. Create an intention to love and watch how it comes back to you. Okay, she ends this chapter off with a recipe for a vegan tuna melt. When I was younger, me and my cousin used to go to the club, honey. Afterward, we would go to Waffle House, and I always got a tuna melt. They were so good. So when I have that urge for my vegan tuna melt, the thought that comes to my spirit is all the fun we had laughing and recapping our night of dancing. So she has a can of hearts of palm, some dill, fresh or dry, any onion and herb seasoning, Old Bay seasoning, smoked paprika, garlic powder, black pepper, roasted seaweed, nori in large or small sheets, vegan eggs, vegan mayonnaise, sweet relish, Dijon mustard, purple red onion mince, whole wheat or sprouted bread. She loves a Dave's Killer bread. Vegan butter, vegan cheese, a pickle if you like. Put the hearts of palm in your food processor. Pulse it just enough so that it has a tuna-ish consistency. Make sure you don't over process it. Add the chopped hearts of palm to your pan. Then a little dill, some onion and herb seasoning, a little Old Bay, some smoked paprika, a little garlic powder or a whole lot because that's your business. A little black pepper. Crumble a little roasted seaweed into the pan. Look at you not needing measurements and things. Cooking by the Spirit is the only way, honey. And she does have a cookbook coming out, I believe, called Cooking by the Spirit. Just take pre-orders for that now. Mix everything together and saute on medium to high heat until the mixture turns light brown. Remove it from the stove. Set it aside to cool for a little bit. In a bowl, mix up some vegan mayo, a little sweet relish, a dab of mustard, and a little onion. Grab your bread and add just a little vegan butter to both sides. Lay your cheese on the bread. Spread the heart of palm mixture on top and cover it with another slice of bread. Grill it on medium heat. And if it takes too long to brown, gently increase the heat. Flip it and grill on the other side. Place it on your plate with a pickle if you like because that's your business. Oh, God, we thank you. Enjoy. So that was the end of chapter 15. Sometimes she does throw in a little recipe in there, which I think is cool. But shout out to Tabitha Brown. She has a new cooking show out, an all-vegan cooking show on some network called It's Complicated. She has a seasoning out called Sunshine Seasoning. She has a cookbook that's being pre-ordered right now. Cooking with the Spirit. So shout out to Tab for doing a darn thing. And yes, that's a great lesson that she went over in chapter 15, Why Secrets Make Us Sick. Sometimes you got to release that hurt and those stories so you can get to the healing process and move on with your journey. So I'll tune in with you guys again soon for chapter 16, which is entitled Strong and Wrong. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace.